Most people don't realize the moment their life becomes expendable. It usually happens quietly, while everyone else is busy looking the other way. At first, he barely registers as a presence at all. A man who walks a little too slowly, apologizes too often, and seems to exist in permanent apology to the world around him. His family speaks over him. Strangers look through him. Even the city itself feels indifferent to whether he arrives home or not. There's nothing tragic yet, just a life reduced to background noise. And that's what makes it unsettling, because when a person is treated as invisible for long enough, something inside them begins to loosen. Not anger, not rebellion, something quieter, a slow acceptance that their existence doesn't really matter. This is the space our story enters. He's an aging office worker, ordinary to the point of anonymity, quietly counting down the days without ever admitting it to himself. The world has already decided what he's worth, and he's learned not to argue. His body is failing him. His family doesn't notice, and when he receives the news that should terrify anyone that his time is limited, it barely causes a ripple. The most painful part isn't the diagnosis. It's the realization that no one truly listens when he tries to speak. Elsewhere in the same city, another life is unfolding under very different conditions. Younger, sharper, more confident. A teenager who understands the rules of the world far too well and has already decided they don't apply to him. Where the older man shrinks inward, this boy pushes outward. He watches people closely, not with curiosity, but with judgment. He sees weakness everywhere, and he despises it. The two of them have nothing in common. Different ages, different lives, different trajectories. They would never meet under normal circumstances. And yet, something happens that binds them together in a way neither of them chose. There's no dramatic buildup, no warning, just a sudden interruption and accident so abrupt it feels almost indifferent. One moment, two human lives. The next, something else. Entirely. They survive. But survival, in this case, is a misleading word. What returns to the city that night still looks human, still moves through familiar streets, still wears the same faces. But inside, something fundamental has changed. Their bodies are no longer fragile. Pain becomes optional. Death becomes negotiable. And for the first time, both of them are forced to confront a question most people never have to answer so directly. If you were no longer bound by consequence, what would you become? For the older man, the change arrives slowly. He doesn't test it. He doesn't celebrate it. He almost doesn't believe it. His first instinct isn't power, it's responsibility. A quiet, almost instinctive urge to use what he has been given to prevent the suffering he recognizes so well. The suffering he's lived with his entire life. He begins small, fixing, healing, saving lives that would otherwise slip away unnoticed. And in doing so, something unexpected happens. For the first time, people look at him, not through him, at him. Gratitude replaces indifference. Purpose replaces resignation. But purpose carries weight. Every life he saves sharpens the awareness of the ones he can't. Every act of kindness makes the silence of the world more obvious, and beneath his gentle resolve, a fear grows not of dying, but of failing to matter again. The teenager's response is very different. Where the older man hesitates, the boy experiments. Where one feels obligation, the other feels liberation. His new abilities don't awaken compassion. They confirm a belief he already held that humans are disposable. That fear is the only language anyone truly understands. At first, it feels abstract. A test, a curiosity. Then it becomes routine. Violence without resistance. Power without effort. Entire lives erased with the emotional weight of switching off a light. And here, the story quietly shifts, because this is no longer about heroes and villains. It's about worldview. Two interpretations of the same gift. One shaped by years of being ignored. The other shaped by years of believing he was superior. As the city begins to sense that something is wrong, tension mounts not through spectacle, but through contrast. Acts of silent mercy colliding with acts of public terror. Anonymous rescues, countered by anonymous death. The world tries to impose meaning after the fact. But meaning doesn't arrive that neatly, and the older man starts to understand something terrifying. Saving people isn't enough, because for every life he protects, another is being taken somewhere else. And no matter how much power he has, he can't be everywhere. The burden he once welcomed becomes unbearable. The same society that ignored him now demands more than he can give. The midpoint arrives, not as a twist, but as a recognition. This isn't a battle of strength. It's a collision of beliefs. One believes that human life has value precisely because it's fragile. The other believes fragility is proof that life is worthless. As their paths begin to converge, the narrative tightens, not through escalating destruction, but through inevitability. Each man sees the other as an answer to a question they can't resolve alone, and the city becomes the silent witness to their philosophical standoff. The teenager, increasingly isolated, begins to realize that absolute power doesn't eliminate loneliness. It intensifies it. Every act meant to assert dominance only deepens the distance between him and everyone else. Fear creates silence but not connection. Meanwhile, the older man faces a quieter reckoning. He can save strangers, but he can't repair the emotional damage already done to his own family. Love, he learns too late, requires presence, not miracles, and power cannot substitute for time. When the truth finally surfaces when intentions are stripped, the story refuses to comfort us with easy morality. There are no speeches, no grand declarations, just two outcomes shaped by how each person answered the same question. What do you do when nothing can stop you? The final moments don't aim for triumph. They aim for clarity. A recognition that humanity isn't defined by strength or intelligence or even survival. It's defined by restraint. Empathy, by the decision to protect something weaker than yourself, even when you no longer have to. And as the noise fades, what lingers isn't the destruction. It's the unsettling thought that power didn't change who they were. It simply revealed it.